You're listening to What She Grows Through, a podcast dedicated to empower and uplift Black women to grow their self-worth. I'm your host, Chanel Lemire, one of many dope Black women, creating a community for us to pour into and align with one another, uncovering our true feelings from sexuality to self-love, to begin growing through life and evolving into our best authentic selves. Let's get started. Hey, beautiful people, it's your girl back again with the latest episode of the What She Grows Through podcast. I hope this finds you well and in good spirits. I hope you have been challenging yourself and pushing through all those limiting beliefs that you may be feeling and just continuing to show up every day as best as you can. Being the best you. That's what I continue to strive for, and I'll let you in on all my thoughts and struggles on a later episode. But the one that I have for today is a really good one. I have been engaging and networking and finding like-minded women to align with because in this mompreneurial journey, I'm not sure if that's a word yet, but I'm telling you it's about to be. But it can be very exhausting and overwhelming at times, and it's so important to surround yourself with genuine support. And I got just that and more with our guest that we have today. So take a listen in on our conversation. Hey, beautiful people. I'm here with our amazing guest, LillieMae. Woohoo! Right here, I would add some clapping sounds because, woo, you are it. Listen, y'all, I had the pleasure of having this woman as my PR coach for a few months, and she does it all. She's a businesswoman, an entrepreneur, coach, podcast host, so many different hats. I'm inspired. You're doing amazing things.
Thank you.
Yes, so enough about me going on. I'll let you share. So let's just get started. Who are you in this moment?
Yeah, I love that you added in this moment because as women, we are always evolving. So I really like that you were specific to who am I in this moment. And, I would say, in this moment, I am a woman of faith that is really, on a mission to achieve abundance and peace, as well as help other women do the same. Like, I feel like I've recently become more wise as it relates to the importance of attracting abundance with ease and grace. Because ease and grace means that you're going to have peace with the things that you attract into your life. And so, I'm just on a mission to help women anchor spiritually and help them really, achieve their goals in business and in their life. So that is who I am in this moment.
Wow. I mean, that was great. Well, can you share a little bit about your personal life journey that brought you to this moment? Like, are there any challenges that you had to grow through before your entrepreneurship journey?
Oh, absolutely. So I grew up in a small town, Winston-Salem, North Carolina, in a very underserved community. So it was basically, I mean, if you can imagine the movie Boys in the Hood, it was pretty much like that. So it would be, in the middle of the night, gunshots outside. I've seen people shoot at each other, do drugs. It was a very, very rough neighborhood. But inside of my home, it was like very warm and loving. My mom and stepfather were just amazing. And so we had this really cozy home on the inside, but on the outside, it was a very, very rough neighborhood. However, I always excelled in academics. And so through excelling in academics, I ended up going to UNC Chapel Hill. And while I was there, I interned with Universal Motown Records in New York and Atlantic Records. And that is what, I guess, cultivated my interest in public relations. So after I graduated from college, I moved to Atlanta. And while I was in Atlanta, I just kept getting laid off of job after job after job. And so I said, enough is enough. I'm going to start my own business. And my first business was an entertainment magazine. And from starting that entertainment magazine, I had the opportunities to go to the MTV VMAs and the BET Music Awards and interview my favorite celebrities like Wendy Williams, Tyrese, Russell Simmons, Wiz Khalifa, Rick Ross, you name it, So it afforded me, the opportunity to do some things I would have never imagined I would be able to. And then eventually, I transitioned into public relations, since that's where, what I studied, and started my PR agency. And so after I started my PR agency and it was going really well, I decided that I wanted to help other entrepreneurial women, advance in their visions and goals. And that's how I created Glambitious. And so Glambitious is a platform where women can access different resources and opportunities and education and coaching with me so that they can advance toward their dreams for their business. And I've also created like a devotional on Clubhouse through the Glambitious Club, so that not only are we helping you grow, financially, but we're helping you also grow spiritually, because I think it's so important that as we attract abundance and success, that we are very grounded spiritually and that we have peace with, the things that we're attracting. So that is the long story short about, how I got into entrepreneurship.
Wow. So were you ever nervous at all? You just talk with just such confidence.
No.
Are you nervous?
That's so funny. That's funny. So the funny thing is when I was a kid, I used to get in trouble for talking so much. So the teachers would give me negative grades. I would get put in the corner. I constantly got in trouble for talking. And it's funny because it turned out to be a gifting of mine where I do talk a lot. So, I think it comes naturally to me. But to answer your question, anytime that I have to speak on a stage, I get extremely nervous, even though I have spoken in front of crowds around the country, in New Orleans and Philadelphia, New York, Miami. I've spoken around the country. I've spoken on many platforms, but anytime that I have to speak in front of people, yes, I get extremely, extremely nervous. Most recently, I went to Atlanta to speak during the Kingdom Business Network conference on stage, and I was nervous for like 2 weeks prior. So yes, I definitely get very nervous when I'm speaking on a live stage, but I've always been a chatty patty since I was a kid, so I think that's why I'm a little more comfortable with that than most.
Okay. Well, it makes me feel good because I'm nervous all the time. I'm nervous now, and we know each other, so I don't know what it is.
Well, it's very common, like, so that you can give yourself more grace. Public speaking is like the number 1 or 2 fear of most people. So it's very common to be, unsettled when you have to speak. So yeah, give yourself grace. It's just like with anything, we have to keep exercising it. And even I was recently watching an interview with, what's her name? Chloe. I think her name is Chloe Bailey, the singer.
Yes.
Yes. I was watching an interview, with her on The Breakfast Club, and she said every time she gets on stage or before she gets on stage, she gets extremely, extremely nervous. And I was like, wow, she's been singing and performing since she was a kid, and even as an adult, she still gets extremely, extremely nervous. So it's something that we all struggle with. And, as long as we push through and show up each time, I think that's all that matters.
And I love that you said giving yourself grace. And you tell me this all the time when we're in your Clubhouse group, to just talk with confidence. And, sometimes I black out, or I don't even know what I do, but it's nice to have you there.
Wow.
Basically.
Yes,
you definitely taught me this, to just give yourself grace, and even if you mess up, just pick yourself back up and push through, as long as you're getting out what you need to say. That's the goal, right?
Exactly. And I always say, and we were talking about this in my devotional this morning, like we were talking about the power of our words, and it's so important that we affirm ourselves more than we point out our shortcomings. And so one of the young ladies that's in my coaching group, she was like, yeah, a few months ago I said I was struggling, and then LillieMae said, you're not struggling. She said, so today when I woke up feeling like I was struggling, I heard LillieMae say again, you're not struggling. And it's like, exactly, it's so important that we affirm ourselves more than we speak to the challenges or our shortcomings, so that we don't get caught up in that hamster wheel. So sometimes we have to just put a period on things and just keep showing up and keep pushing through, and not highlighting our shortcomings, but more so highlighting that we showed up. You know what I mean? So that's, my clients call me the activator, because I just want everyone to, feel encouraged and to feel strong in whatever their gifting is. And I think the fact that you're doing a podcast, this is a passion and it's a part of your gifting. And as long as you're showing up for it, then that's what we should celebrate.
Yes, and this is why I had you on the show, of course, because we need women like you to pour into people when, we might not feel that confident. Just having someone like you to lift us up, to pour into us, to align with us it's just amazing. So thank you for everything that you do.
Aw, you're welcome.
Now, can you tell us, you already talked about how your business helps other entrepreneurs and content creators. Can you talk a little bit about your reflection of your journey thus far and how that might align with your interpretation of what she grows through, what that means to you?
Absolutely. As with everyone, I've definitely had my fair share of challenges. And so I know, I guess, the second question where I was sharing a little bit about my personal life journey. One of the challenges I had to grow through, because I grew up in such a underserved community where people didn't have money and people, we're really poor. I think our rent might have been like $200 a month. Like, that's how impoverished the neighborhood was. It was, everyone didn't have anything. I definitely had to grow through a certain money mindset. And that mindset was that, money is limited and that resources are limited, because that's what I grew up seeing, an environment where resources and money were limited for most people, so that was a mindset that I had to grow through. Another thing I had to grow through was seeing, certain people. Like, when I was in, I want to say, fourth grade, they transferred me to an academically gifted school. So I went from going to school with kids in my neighborhood who were also poor to going to a school with rich kids that had like horses and maids. So at 10 years old, that's a big shift as a 10-year-old. And so, seeing these kids with all of this, these big homes and things like that, I began to think, man, life is unfair. And so that was another mindset that I had to grow through, thinking that life is unfair and that some people are lucky, when the fact is everyone goes through challenges. If you're going through challenges now, then you'll have your good season later. If you're having your good season now, then you'll go through challenges later. Like, it's the nature of life. So I had to grow through the mindset that life was unfair, and instead look at, you really have to make the best of the cards that you're dealt. The more positive you think, the more positive you speak, the better your experience is going to be. And that it's not a necessarily thing of life being unfair. It's just life. So that was another mindset that, I had to grow through, is looking for joy in each day and not speaking on my challenges so much as speaking on the good things and the blessings. And, I talked about grace with you giving yourself grace. That was another thing I've had to learn, was to give myself more grace and not be a perfectionist and not aim for everything to be perfect, or to be disappointed when things don't align up as how I think they should, but to give myself grace and to know that at any given moment I'm doing the best that I can. And I think that's all that God asks of us, is that we do the best that we can. We show up the best that we can. We speak as much positivity to others as we can. We help as many people as we can. We're as kind to ourselves as we can be. And so that is grace, So those are like a couple of the things that I reflect on as far as what she grows through, is seeing how, with life and experiences, I've just grown a bit more wise. And it just, gives you a little more ease with whatever your present circumstance is. And so that is a little bit, I guess, of my reflections on my journey.
And that is amazing. I like how you said your out was academics, and I can align with that because that was how it was for me. I grew up with the scarcity mindset. Money doesn't grow on trees. And, my mom had to struggle to make ends meet for us. And I think it was when I was in eighth grade. So, another thing that aligns with me is I definitely got good grades, but what was it? N or U? Like,
Mm-hmm.
uh, yeah, like just I was the talker also. But eighth grade, I got this award for being smart. Basically, it was called "Who's Who for American School Students," and my picture was in there, and I was like, "Wow." Maybe I can do something with this. Like, I'm smart. This might
Mm-hmm.
be my way out. So I got the good grades, but definitely was the class clown and all of those things. But yeah, that was my way out. I was able to go to a good school, the University of Pittsburgh. I don't know why I decided to do that. I kind of still wanted to go to a HBCU or
Mm-hmm.
just a college with a lot more black people. And I got full rides to a couple places,
Oh,
but
wow.
I actually thought I wanted to be a doctor. So I was like, maybe I should do something more diverse. And I went to Pitt, but I still kind of regret that. But yes, academics were my way out. So, do you have any advice for other Black women, tips that they can take to continue to grow through their journeys? I mean, you all already just talked in so much depth, given so many gems, but is there anything else you would like tips for other
Sure.
Black women?
Absolutely. I would encourage listeners to spend more time with God. Like, really spend more time, quiet time with God. Fill your cup up, show yourself more love, build in those self care activities every week, book the massages, read the book, like, do the things that make you feel good. Get some sunlight, go outside and sit in the sun for 15-20 minutes. Let your feet ground on the grass and ground with the earth, like, really do the things that it takes to stay anchored no matter where you are in life, because that's just really going to help ease your journey, because we're all growing through something at any given time, no matter what it looks like on Instagram, no matter how happy someone seems or how perfect their pictures are edited on social media. They're growing through something, which is why I love the title of this podcast. Instead of going through it, we're growing through it. Change your mindset on life, change your mindset on the current circumstance. Use your words to affirm your healing, affirm your happiness, affirm your abundance. If you're desiring for partnership, use your words to affirm that partnership. If you're desiring children, use your words. Whatever it is that you're desiring, tap into your spiritual gifts, and one of those being the power of your words, and speak it every day. Speak it repeatedly. Enforce boundaries. Learn to say no. Learn to decline the call. You don't always have to pick up everyone's phone call. I think it's okay to prioritize yourself, because we're all growing through something. We're actually growing through an international pandemic. So give yourself more grace and really flow with the pace of grace, which means slow down, you know, invite God into your life every day, into your morning, into your afternoon, into your evening, into your challenges, and really just give yourself more grace on this journey. So that would be like my advice to the listeners.
Yes, I love that. And I actually needed to hear that. Thank you. Because yeah, we do, or I do need to slow down. And when we were talking earlier in our group, you told me maybe you need to just focus on one thing instead of just doing, you didn't say this part, but this is me, just instead of doing so much. And that's true. I try to do a lot of things, but just remembering to work on those boundaries showing up for myself, doing the best that I can, that's so important.
Mhm.
Because the fear of failing, if I can think and turn it around, shift my mind to think failing forward, trying, because so many people are so scared to even try. So
Mhm.
I'm doing that, even if it's not perfect, because it will never be perfect, but I am trying and I'm doing the best that I can. And like you said, with grace, giving myself grace, recognizing all the things that I am doing. I'm doing a lot, really. And
Mhm.
then doing all this with two kids as a single
Wow.
mom, it's a lot. And
Mhm.
just continuing to show up for myself and showing up for other people who may feel the same way that I'm feeling. So yes. Thank you. Thank you. Because I definitely did need to hear this. Using your words is so important. Last question. How can our listeners stay connected with you? Because you're doing so much, all the things. How can they connect with you?
Yeah, so you can follow me on Instagram at I am LillieMae. And you can also visit my website to join my email list. My website is theglamceo.com. And I currently have a course that is available for entrepreneurs, content creators. It's called How to Be Your Own Publicist. And so basically, in that course, I put together the complete protocol that I've used to elevate myself and clients to national recognition and success as entrepreneurs. So I, consider this to be the last course that you'll need to really achieve your dreams, because I cover all of the things that, entrepreneurs and content creators need to know to reach the level of success that they desire. So definitely visit theglamceo.com to check out the course, How to Be Your Own Publicist. And if you're on Clubhouse, you can find me by searching Glambitious. So I just want to thank you for the opportunity to do this podcast with you. And I just love the title of it, What She Grows Through, because like I said, we're all growing through something. And so I just encourage everyone to, go at the pace of grace and just manage your moment. You mentioned like doing a lot. Sometimes we feel like we're in a race against time, or like we're running out of time, or we have to get so much done by a certain time. And I feel like, really all God is calling us to do is show up, be kind, and, really be a vessel for Him. Everything else is like, not important. It's important that we show up and be a vessel for Him, plain and simple. So if that's your priority, to wake up every day in gratitude and just be a vessel and shine your light, I think that's where the gold is. Everything else will fall into place when you align spiritually and really manage your day and manage your moment and manage your peace and find your joy. So those are my closing thoughts, and I just thank you again for the opportunity.
Thank you. And I love what you just said, like just showing up. You just feel so much better when you know that you're giving it your all and you're not being so hard on yourself. Like you're really trying. That's all you can do in time. Don't worry too much about the
Mhm.
time. Don't worry about how far other people are. You just have to remember that this journey is yours. And you might be, alongside other people's paths, but you're still on your journey.
Mhm.
So, thank you so much for coming and gracing us with so many gems, and just the energy was just. Thank you for tuning in to the latest episode of the What She Grows Through podcast. I hope you were able to grab some nuggets from our discussion. If so, and if anything resonated with you, shoot me a message. You can go to our growing Instagram account at What She Grows Through and hit the follow sign. Subscribe here on Apple Podcasts and any other platforms that you listen on. And I'll always hit you with this one: rate the show. I will list all of LillieMae's information in the description box so you can stay connected with her as well. And I believe a big takeaway for today was live your life, give yourself grace, recognize you have so much in you already, and all you need to do is just believe it and take action. push forward, fail forward, everything. All the gems that we had today. I look forward to talking with you again. Until then.